Hi, it's Jay here, and I'm making a video today of my Mercedes 190E Cosworth, which I'm considering selling. This car has been with me for many years. Certainly, I think it's coming up to 20 years probably. I will check that. It took me at least 10 years to find the 190E Cosworth that I dreamt of as a child, and I rejected every car I saw, which was many, until I came across this one. And to say I have an attachment with it is a bit of an understatement. But unfortunately, the day has come where I need to thin down the collection a little bit. And the 190 Cosworth, unfortunately, these days doesn't get used much because my kids are a little bit bigger and they don't really fit in this very well anymore. And it just spends a lot of the time in the garage, locked away. And it's time for someone else to enjoy it. And it's a great investment, the 190, of course. They're getting very rare. So when I bought a car, I wanted a 2.5. I wanted the later one, because the later cars always hold good value. And with any car, when it's late in the production of a vehicle, they've sort of ironed out all the issues, in my opinion. And it's the better one to go for. It's always the more desirable. So I wanted a car that had full leather interior, heated seats. I wanted a car that had was original as possible and not been messed with. And when this came up, I bought it from a chap who had been left it by his family after his father passed away. So it had been in the same family ownership for many years. And the chap used it to go to France in regularly from his home, and that's where a lot of the mileage was done early in its life. And the chap I bought it off was his son, and he just told me that he wasn't a classic car guy. It was left to him, and he tried to use it for a couple of years, but it wasn't really the sort of car he wanted to keep or maintain. Me being a Mercedes nutter, I really wanted this, and the minute it came up for sale, I knew it was the one for me. The history was great on it. It was a UK car, and it was the spec that I wanted. I needed to have the full leather. I don't like the check cloth, and finding one in decent condition was just very difficult. It's got the memory driver's seat, which I wanted also at the time. It hasn't got aircon, and that's actually what I wanted. I didn't want the complications of aircon on a car like this, because it's a sporty car. You just want to keep it simple, and that's what I wanted. And main thing, obviously, I wanted the dogleg manual. You don't buy one of these unless it's a dogleg manual. The autos, I mean, yeah, okay, I know people defend them, but what's the point in a 190 Cosworth auto? I don't get it. It just doesn't appeal to me. So I'm going to tell you, stop babbling on now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this car. So when I bought it, there was a little bit of rust around the arches and things, as these always have, because those plastic arch covers are a bit of a water trap. So when I got it, the quarters were both done properly. They were welded. Got lots of photos of the process. That was back in early 2000, I don't know, 5 or 6 was it? I can't remember now, but it was a long time ago. Maybe a bit later than that. And then I've done lots of bits to it over the years. I know one of the first jobs I did was refurbish the differential on the back, and when we had the differential out, we replaced the underfloor panel there, the metal panel where the anti-roll bar sits on, because that was rusty under there, so that was all replaced. And then more recently, I think only 2 or 3 years ago, I had all this redone again, because the first guy that did it did a good job, but unfortunately the rust had spread a little bit further, so we actually cut out all the rust and did it properly this time. It was all in the wheel arches on both sides, and again, I've got photos, and this was all done properly. And if anyone knows me, I'm on the Mercedes scene, you'll see that the guys I use for welding and for bodywork, they're the best in the business. They built my AMG wide body, and these are the same guys that did the work on this. It was done really well. That said, I will just point out, as I'm in the area, a little bit of bubbling has just started here, so it will need a little bit of attention there. But I think it's just, if you look down there, you can see where probably water's just been sat, and it just needs a little bit of a rub down and repaint. Or you could just leave it. It's not that unsightly. You can't really see it from this sort of distance. So the car has been painted in my ownership, just because silver is one of those colours that if you do a little bit, you end up sort of painting the whole side, for example, to make sure the colour matches. So every time I've had anything done, we've made sure that the colour matches and everything's done. So you end up doing large areas of the car, which is what I've done. I've always wanted it spot on right. Everyone knows that when I do something, it has to be done right. So all of my suppliers and everyone that I work with, they know that Jay's cars have to be done properly. There's no shortcuts. While we're here, I painted this black. I replaced it recently as well. Genuine Mercedes wiper blades. I don't use anything else but genuine. I've just replaced the 2 washer jets. Well, to be honest, as we go around the car, if I tell you everything that I've replaced, we'll be here a long time. Brake discs and pads are relatively recent. They look pretty good. I'm sure I have a memory of just doing the rears recently, and I'm sure I did the fronts too. Okay. As we go around, I will point out any imperfections. In here, it's all pretty clean. Okay. The seal's lifted here on this side a little bit, and you will find little areas of overspray where they've been a little bit careless with the masking. I was meant to clean that off. I haven't done it yet. This seal's good. Okay, door card. Obviously, these all lift. Every single one of these lift, but this one's very, very minimal on the driver's side. Okay. Let's move around to the other side. Oh, on the rear spoiler, there's been this little bump here. That's always been there. And when we did the bodywork on the car, my painter said just leave that, because chances are that if you start rubbing it down, you'll make it. You might get into something that you don't want to be dealing with and make it worse. So, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just there, and I want to make people aware. Okay, I replaced the seal around the antenna recently. I've got the last one in existence for sale anywhere, and I think there's a spare in the car because I couldn't find one, and I managed to find 2 from a Mercedes dealership in Timbuktu somewhere, and I bought the last 2 that were available. Okay, back here you can see black leather seats in the back. Recaro interior on the 190 is in lovely condition. The back screen is in lovely condition. It's just steamed up because I've just had the car washed, but there's no leaks or anything into the car. Don't worry about that. Right, of course the phone call comes as you're doing a video. Okay, so over here again, seals, good condition here. Little bit of wearing there. I think that's off my car cover because I keep it under a cover, and sometimes if it's under my sort of carport where I keep it, a little bit of wind gets under it, and I think that happens when it's windy. But I'll touch that up. There are a couple of little bits on the car which I will touch up. Tiny little bubble there, which I'll touch that up with a little bit of paint. It's not worth repainting the bonnet for. It's really, really small. There's no marks there. That's just water. Okay, so that's the exterior of the car. Oh, right, the main thing, right, obviously I've put these Cosworth Evo 1 style wheels on. These are genuine wheels, Mercedes wheels. They're not replicas or anything like that. And as you can see, I've had them done in a 2-tone effect. So the interior is a little bit grey, the outside's diamond cut. They've lasted really well. I refurbed these probably, I don't know, it must be 7-8 years ago now. But I do have the original 15-hole alloys. I like these wheels, and I've left them on. The 15-hole alloys are with it. You get one or the other. So if you want the 15-hole alloys on, that's fine. I'll put those on, and I'll keep these because I've got other uses for these wheels. So that's fine. But if you want these wheels, I'm happy to leave these on as well. And if you want both, then we'll have to talk about that. Before we move on to the interior, I'm just going to show you a couple more little bits that I found. You see the paint's peeling on that plastic panel there. I can have that repainted if it's a big deal for anyone. It's just a little bit peeling on there. I must have peeled when I washed it or something. And I'll just show you the roof. So on the roof, it's very, very clean and tidy. There's a little rust spot just here by the sunroof seal. Nothing else there. That's not a mark, it's just some dirt. Yeah, pretty clean on the roof. There's nothing around the sunroof seal that's of any worry. Windscreen, by the way, was replaced very recently. I believe I got a stone chip on it, and as you're going to get the impression pretty soon, I'm pretty fastidious about my cars, and it was just replaced with a good screen. I don't think there were genuine ones were available anymore, so we use a Lucas, which is original quality. But I couldn't get a genuine one at the time. Otherwise, it would have been a genuine one, I promise you. Right, moving on to the interior. Okay, so just moving on to the interior of the car. As you can see, it's in lovely condition. This is a car that's now how many years old it is. Gets the calculator out, so it's decades old. It's not a brand new car, but look at it. It's very, very minimal wear. Okay, got the original cassette holder. The steering wheel I have replaced with a sporty version, but I do have the original. It'll come with the car. Okay, it's in storage at home. As you can see, I used 2 sets of mats. The Mercedes over mats that I had specially made for this car by the same company that makes them for Mercedes, by the way, in Germany. I bought those and put them in there, and then I protected them with over mats. I think on the other side there's actually 2 rubber over mats to be extra careful. Okay, in here, electric seats all work as they should. Okay, memory functions work, and in there you'll see in my cars there's always spare parts. I mean, I'm just a bit of a hoarder of parts and things, and yeah. Okay. Mileage as of today 139,994. I don't plan to use the car much anymore, so that's what it'll be. Okay, so over here we've got the vents, and look, no cracks here. Okay, these always crack, and this is this was in the car when I got it, but I have also got another one of these blanks. I think it's somewhere in the car. I'm sure it's there. That'll come with the car. And this one, no cracks. Okay, this was a genuine part, not an aftermarket, and this is one of the last ones that I could find available. Okay. All in good condition here, nothing messed with. The interior is all original. As I said earlier, the only thing I replaced when I first bought the car was this door card because it was lifting. Right, over here we've got the Becker Indianapolis Pro. It is a navigation system. I don't really use the navigation system, but the great thing about these is they look original and they've still got the modern features. So you've got your radio, and if you press CD, it'll connect to an iPod, old style one, believe it or not, but it does work. So, okay, sorry, just carrying on, got a phone call there. So, as I was saying, the radio is a great system, and it'll come with the car. It's really nice, and I upgraded all the speakers, by the way, and I've put 2 Pioneers in the back. You probably can't see from here because the headrests are in the way, but there's 2 Pioneer speakers on the back shelf. I didn't cut any holes. I didn't want to cut any holes, so I used the ones that sit on the shelf. Okay, over here, voltmeter. Okay, this is a brand new voltmeter. But believe it or not, sometimes it is a bit sticky when you first start the car. Nothing happens. You give it a tap and it'll come to life. Over here, the infamous lap timer. And have you ever seen one that's original and working without any fading on the screen or screen bleeding? Well, here you go. Okay, oil temperature gauge. Again, I got a brand new one recently and fitted it. So that's in there. And all the original parts I've kept. I don't throw anything away. All right, the lap timer, this one as well, I believe it's a working one. I think I saw it on eBay and bought it as a spare. Okay, and this is the voltmeter, the original one off the car. Okay, so that's in there as well. And I believe that was working as well. I can't remember why I replaced it. I think I was just going through a phase of just wanting to have nice orange needles. So, okay, a couple of extra spare parts, as you see in here, the manual for the radio, and some fuses and what have you in there. Okay. What else can I tell you? So, as you can see, the car's been idling, temperature's all nice and steady. Okay, heated seats definitely work on this car. I use them every time I'm in the car because I need my heated seats. All the electric window buttons, you can see, they're nice and unworn condition. Okay, so this is the underside of the 190, and I'm going to do an honest video here. I haven't made any attempts to cover anything up. This is the underneath as I've driven it today to work, and it's a rainy, winter's horrible day, unfortunately. But as you can see, I have waxed all of this car a few times. It's got an aftermarket exhaust system on, which I put on. I like the sound of it. It may not be for everyone, but it gives you a nice raspy note, which I like. Underneath here, you'll see it's got wax protection everywhere. Okay. This car, yeah, it definitely, it's had some welding. I'm not going to deny it. This car is, it's not like a Japanese import or something that, but this car has had some welding, but it's all been done very, very well. So as I talked about earlier in the video, this is the area where the wheel arches were repaired. Unfortunately, a bit muddy this morning. I'll clean that, obviously. And on this side as well. You can see it's all been done really, really well. The jacking points were done, and as you can see, the bungs have been put back. It's not been bodged up like most people do, okay? So, underneath here, we've got all the pipes. They're all in good condition as far as I can see. Okay, these arms were replaced by me a few years back. Unfortunately, on the UK roads, everything just gets a little bit of a layer of rust on it. As you can see where I've waxed. You know, I do that regularly every time I service the car, which, by the way, I service my cars every year, whether they need it or not. It's just something I do. You can see that the ABS sensors that I replaced last summer, again, they've got a little bit of corrosion on them now, but they were replaced a few months back. Okay, over here you can see engine's all good. Okay, it's all a bit wet because it's been driving on the road. This doesn't seem to be oil or anything like that. It's just general wetness of the car. Okay, again here the jacking points were repaired. Here you can see it's had all new metal in there. Okay, that clip hasn't been put back the best, but it's not going to go anywhere. And back here, a little bit of surface corrosion on these pipes here, but nothing too crazy. And if I recall, I think I replaced all these links a few years back. I'm not 100% sure. No, I am sure actually. Yeah, we replaced all these links when we did the differential. So the differential was refurbished, and we replaced all those arms at the same time, all genuine parts. Okay, and I remember I think we replaced that valve as well, which controls the suspension height. And if I do remember, I think we replaced all the springs at the same time and everything. But that was a few years back. You'll see on the history that I'll put on the advert. Okay. So yeah, you know, this has all been dinitrolled underneath. Yeah, it's okay. There is some surface corrosion. I'm not hiding behind that. There is a little bit of surface corrosion, but it's not anything major. As I say, all the serious stuff was taken care of. And if I was keeping this car, I'd probably this next summer I'd probably just rub some of this back and just go over it again with dinitrol, just to give it a nice fresh coat of black. Okay, but I'm not hiding anything here. I could have done that before I'd done this video, and I'm giving an honest opinion of the car. Every UK car at this sort of age will have a little bit of surface corrosion, and this one's no different. Okay, and that's where we are. All the tyres are good, all Yokohama tyres. That's if you're keeping these wheels. If you want the original wheels, I'll make sure they've got good tyres on as well. Okay, this is the infamous dogleg 5-speed dogleg gearbox. So that's the underside of the car. Hopefully that helps any prospective buyers, because I know a lot of people will maybe come interested from abroad.